Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the Legal Beagle Podcast. As you will notice, we do not have the Legal Beagle library behind us. That's because this is the Legal Beagle Fireside Chat. And you might also notice that I am wearing my Arizona State University hoodie. There's a very important reason that I'm wearing this hoodie, and that's because Negretti Associates just agreed to offer an endowment to the Arizona State University School of Law, more appropriately called the Sandra Day O'Connor School of Law. And this endowment will offer a scholarship for at least the next 5 years, and it certainly can go beyond that, for students that are what we deem leaders in the community. And that's important to me for a couple of reasons. And let me explain a little bit more about my story and how we got here for our firm to be able to offer this endowment to the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law at Arizona State. Back when I did my undergrad, I struggled a bit in picking a direction in my education, what I wanted to major in, what I wanted to do. And there was a time where I actually almost failed out of ASU. My GPA was so low that I was at the point of being put on academic suspension. So that was a bit of a defining moment for me, because I knew I could do the work. I just wasn't doing the work. And so I actually went to San Diego at the time. My dad lived there, and I went to visit him, and I spent some time on the beach, just reflecting on my life, thinking about my future, just kind of staring out at the ocean, trying to come up with some answers to where I was headed and what I was currently doing. And I found some clarity in that time away. And the clarity was that you are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for, or that you even believe you could do. And so I really spent that week thinking about those things. And then I came back and I met with one of my academic counselors. I said, look, I can't unwind what has already happened, but I can look forward into the next year and a half of school and figure out how to graduate and have some sort of direction. And so we sat down together, we put together a plan, and I was able to excel. In fact, in my declared major, I think my GPA was like a 3.9, maybe 3.8. But because of the previous trouble I had had in my first 2 years or 2.5 years at ASU, my overall GPA was quite low. It was like in the low threes, and certainly not remarkable, certainly not something that I look back on and am very proud of, but you learn from things and you grow from things. So after getting my degree from Arizona State, I went off into the world of media. I worked in media sales. I worked in for a few different publications. I helped start a publication that was created by Dave and Jackie Goodwin here in Arizona called the College Times. They later sold that. I helped grow a key accounts desk at the Arizona Republic, which is the daily newspaper here, into a 8-figure income producing desk for the Arizona Republic. So I had these exciting experiences, but I felt like I was lacking something. And so I started to investigate what other things were out there for me. And one of the things I was considering doing was going to get my MBA. And so I visited with, again, ASU, because they offer an MBA program. I visited with Thunderbird, which is an international business school here, highly acclaimed in the Phoenix area, and sat down and even sat in on some of those classes and kind of met with some of the students. And then out of happenstance, I was told that I should give a go at law school. And I had never thought of going to law school. I don't come from a lineage of attorneys. I don't have that background or that pedigree in my family, but it sounded interesting. And I knew that the experience or the education itself could benefit me in a lot of different capacities going forward, especially as I had this sincere interest in business. So I had kind of a 3-step approach. I would take the LSAT, I would apply to law school, and then I would figure out how to financially go to law school. It's kind of funny because I think back now and I'm like, maybe I should have thought about financially how to go to law school before I took the LSAT, before I applied to law school. But nonetheless, that was my 3-step approach. So I took the LSAT, did not do exceptionally well on the LSAT. On the spectrum of where I scored on the LSAT, I probably was on the lower end, maybe not where tier 1 schools, the upper echelon of law schools would even give me a look. Certainly not Ivy League material. But that was okay because I wanted to go to Arizona State. I have this affinity for Arizona State. I've been a Sun Devil for a long time. I thought it'd be cool to have the story of I went to Arizona State for my undergrad, and then I went to Arizona State for my graduate degree. Well, my GPA combined with my LSAT score was too low for ASU to admit me. Now, fortunately, at the time, there was another law school option in Phoenix. There was a law school called Phoenix School of Law. It's now defunct and out of business. But at the time, that was another option, and they admitted me to law school. But that wasn't good enough for me. I wanted to know how to get into ASU because I'm a big believer that if you don't get in through the front door, that maybe there's a way to get in through the side door. And I continued to pester the dean of admissions at Arizona State for weeks on end after I was already admitted and enrolled in Phoenix School of Law. And the reason for that is I wanted to find out what I needed to do to put myself in the best position possible to get admitted to Arizona State upon transfer. It's not often that students would transfer after year 1 of law school, but it's not uncommon either. It does happen from time to time. It's just not something that is highly publicized or something that is highly done by students. But you can transfer after year 1, and that's probably the last or only opportunity to transfer. You typically wouldn't transfer after year 2 unless there were really extreme circumstances. So, long story short, I'm pestering the dean of admissions. She finally picks up the phone. And I say, hey, look, I just want to know how to put myself in the best position possible so that if I apply to transfer, you guys give me a look. And she said, this is what I need you to do. I need you to kick butt your first year of law school. I need you to be in the top 10% of your class. Okay? I need you to join organizations and be active on campus. You can't just be a bookworm. You have to show that you're more well-rounded than that. Okay, I can do that. And I need you to meet your professors and get to know them so that if you have to have a letter of recommendation written about you, they actually know who you are. And they're not just being asked last minute to write about one of their students. They've gotten to know you over the course of the school year. Well, going to law school later in life, because I had worked in media for quite some time before I went to law school, I was much older than your traditional student. I was in my 30s. And so there was a little bit more comfort with where I was in my life and what I was doing. And so focusing in and getting good grades, certainly challenging, but not undoable. Getting involved in campus organizations and clubs, again, very easy to do in the sense that you have to participate and sign up. But I was social and I was certainly able to make those connections and join a wide variety of organizations. I was in a law school fraternity. I didn't know that there were law school fraternities, but there are. I was in a bunch of different organizations. I joined organizations that had to do with religion and the law. I joined organizations that had to do with social justice and giving back into the community. I joined organizations that were really focused on the growth of academics in law school. And so I was just across the board involved in a lot of different things. And then I went and sat down with my professors. And when I sat down with my professors, I got to know them as people. They got to know me as a person. And there was a relationship that developed there. It wasn't just professor-student, it was person to person, which is a different type of relationship that you could develop with someone. So when the time came to transfer, I had checked all the boxes. I was in the top 10% of my class, my first year class at Phoenix School of Law. I had joined a ton of organizations and was well-rounded in that capacity. And I knew a lot of my professors and had asked a few of them to write letters of recommendation. So when I submitted my application to transfer to ASU, I was immediately admitted as a student. And what I say immediately is they had different, like a rolling admission process where they would let a certain number of students in to see if they accepted their admission, and then more students based on who declined those offers of admission. But I was immediately let in, and it was really, really exciting for me. And also kind of a payoff to the year of work I had put in. But rather than simply just transfer to ASU, I went to Phoenix School of Law and I sat with the dean and I said, look, I know that I'm going to go do wonderful things for this profession. I wasn't exactly sure what that would look like, but I knew I would do something impactful in this profession. And I want to be an ambassador for whatever school I graduate from. And if you offer me a scholarship to stay here, I will stay and complete school here, and I will forever sing your praises, and I will give back to the school, and I'll donate. The dean was uninterested and said, good luck at ASU. That same offer about giving back and being a part of the legacy of law school was made to ASU. I said the same thing to the dean of admissions as part of my application to be admitted, that if you let me in, I will forever be grateful and I will forever give back to the school and be part of that ongoing legacy of law students who have graduated from Arizona State. So fast forward to today. We are, I think, 8 years removed from law school. And is that right? 8 years removed from law school. I am now in a position, our firm is now in a position, much credit to the hard work of our entire staff. This does not simply belong to me, but we are now in a position where we can offer this endowment to Arizona State University on behalf of the firm. So we have created the Negretti Law Leadership Scholarship, which will be the first student to receive this scholarship will be the next incoming class, which would be August of 2021. And I'm really excited to have this be part of the firm's legacy, part of my personal legacy, and part of Arizona State University's legacy. But when I sat down with the team at ASU to create this scholarship, it was really important to me that this just wasn't another scholarship available to a student who just excelled in their undergraduate or excelled on their LSAT scores. I really wanted to try to identify people like me, because I've said and will continue to say that if not for the opportunity that Phoenix School of Law gave me, I don't go to law school. I don't get to make an impact in this profession. I don't get to touch the lives that I've touched and help the people that I've helped without that chance that Phoenix School of Law took on me. Now, Arizona State University took another chance on me when they admitted me. And I graduated from there, took the bar under their name, passed, and am now licensed in 3 states. Took 2 bars, Arizona bar, took the California bar back when it was 3 days, not 2 days. And then also got admitted in Colorado. So I have licenses in all 3 states, thanks to the start that Phoenix School of Law gave me and the finish that Arizona State University gave me. And I'm forever grateful for that. But in developing that scholarship, I wanted to make sure that we created a scholarship that would find people like me. Now, here's what you need to know when you think about law school, or when you're thinking about the people they admit into law school. Law schools are ranked across the country. There are rankings that put law schools in different tiers. I said earlier, tier 1, it's usually your better law schools in the country, not just Ivy League, but Arizona State's a tier 1 law school. But they're ranked based on the students that they admit. And those rankings have to do with metrics like undergraduate GPAs, LSAT scores, etc. So that's an important metric for the law school. So here I am asking the law school to create a scholarship that identifies people like me, people who didn't have a great undergrad GPA, people that didn't have a great LSAT score, but have some life experience and have this desire to go do great things and can be great in this profession regardless of what it says on paper. And so we really had to work hard to try to create a scholarship that allows the recipient to be identified as one of those people. So it's called the Negretti Law Leadership Scholarship, but it really is focused in the criteria to apply for this scholarship has a lot to do with some of the same metrics that applied to me, and it allows the law school and their admissions department to offer this scholarship to someone who maybe otherwise wouldn't have been given a chance to go to law school. So if we as a firm can impact this profession in a positive way by finding more dedicated, more non-traditional, more out-of-the-box type attorneys, then I think that we're doing the right thing and we're offering some good into the profession that we are honored to work in. So I'm excited to share this news with you. It's why I'm wearing my ASU hoodie. It's why I decided to do this in a fireside chat. But I can't, it's surreal to me to think about this reality at this point, because I remember making those promises as a transfer student and thinking that one day I'm going to be able to fulfill that. And now I'm at the point where I can fulfill it. So it's very exciting for me to share this with you. I'm humbled by the fact that we're in a position to do this, and thankful to the Sandra Day O'Connor College of Law at Arizona State University for believing in me, for helping me put together a scholarship that really gives back and identifies those future students that will make positive impacts on this profession. So thank you. Have a great rest of your week.